Hello, is this Romy?
Yes, this is Romy.
My name is Sean David Schwartz. Um, I was speaking to a gentleman named Victor about the abuse that I'm going through. I've spoken with him a few times. Um, I'm an autistic adult male. Most of the time, I'm not like this. I'm in a state of crisis because of abuse,
Okay.
and I've gone to every service. I've I don't have an advocate. I don't have a friend or family member to help.
Okay.
And the police and a lot of other people have taken advantage of that. I've tried to go in person to show them what I'm going through because I just get talked over. And instead of people understanding, um, instead of trying to understand autism, they assume that I'm mentally retarded. I have an IQ of 172.
Okay.
I'm overwhelmed and I'm harmed and harassed a lot. I'm having to deal with a lot of abuse over my best friend getting her brains blown out in Colorado. And I was stalked here river. I tried to turn stuff into the cops, but I was forced into homelessness because Natalie got her brains blown out. It's a real popular true crime story. Bad people, and I've got evidence of it. I've also got evidence that I've been to every service here since I got here, and all they've done is run me around in circles and try to run me out of town.
I'm sorry. So, I'm okay. So, let me try to understand. First of all, have you talked at all with Tides of Change?
I have.
Okay. Okay.
They
The reason go ahead.
Go ahead. There's a woman there named Monica, and she was going to help me, but I had to explain to her probably 2 to 3 dozen times that I needed her to stop pushing housing. It takes 2 years. I needed someone to help me turn in the crimes committed against me right away.
Okay.
It wasn't until our second or I think it was our third appointment. And I said, hey, here's the thing. I'm still being abused. I've been abused repeatedly since I've been coming to your office to try to turn in abuse. I need someone to be here with me when the police are here so that they won't do what it is that they've done to me repeatedly, which is blow me off, victimize me, and send me to mental health.
Okay.
So Monica was going to help me with that. But the thing is that I was explaining to her my situation, and she spent so much time talking over me. She literally ignored every word that came out of my mouth. And a lot of those things are very important, especially for somebody who's autistic. And it didn't even register to her. So that officer, he went out of his way not to listen to me, not to look at any of the evidence, not to make any effort to do that. And Monica wasn't willing to help me with that. She wasn't trying to understand that I am unsafe here. I am harmed frequently and often because I am easy to victimize. I don't do drugs. I don't drink alcohol. I'm physically disabled and I am mentally disabled, both from physical abuse and psychological abuse. I'm an at-risk adult. I get called mentally ill, and magically any crimes committed against me must be figments of my imagination.
Are you working at all with Senior Disability Services?
I've attempted. They committed felonies because I'm trying to turn in cops in this town.
Are you wanting to stay in town? Let me ask you that.
Ma'am, I'm wanting to stop the abuse is what I'm wanting. I never wanted to stop in Tillamook. I was abused into coming here, and now I'm being abused into leaving. I can't afford to run around to all these services for them to run me around to other services. They're all referral services. Not one of them helps disabled people. They're supposed to, but I've got literally hundreds of recordings that show that they don't. They talk over us. Tides of Change did not help. Monica knew that I had to have my computer in front of me and I needed a place that was quiet. that is important for somebody who is autistic, and I have literally not had that since Natalie Bollinger got her brains blown out.
Is it, do you have, because it's sounding like there's a whole bunch of things going on for you, and that must feel very overwhelming. So it sounds like you're worried about your safety, you're do a lot of things, and I don't want to overlook safety, but I'm also wondering, do you have access to, can you go to the library and get a library card?
I have a library card, and I've been to the library. That's the thing about trying to explain my disabilities. Just because everybody has the same idea doesn't mean I'm able. Right. I'm called mentally ill and ignored by mandated reporters.
Well, I'm not calling you mentally ill. I'm just trying to understand what resources other ones I might be able to help you, because I'm not going to pretend like I have a magic wand and that I know all the answers to things. But I want to try to help. Are you on Oregon Health Plan?
I'm with. Let me see on my wallet. I think it's called Columbia Pacific.
Yep, that's us. Okay, so Oregon Health Plan. Then there may be people on our regional care team, and that's a team of caseworkers that can reach out and talk with you and figure out what we can do to help support you. And I don't have the ability to get involved in people's legal issues. But the other thing I'm going to suggest, and I don't know if anyone else has suggested to you, Oregon Law Center.
Ma'am, I've literally called everyone there is to call. That's the thing. I'm a disabled and at-risk adult. I'm supposed to have somebody here to prevent me from being talked over and belittled and harmed. Ma'am, I have literally hundreds of crimes that have been committed against me.
Okay. So if I shared out your contact information with somebody on our team, with the CCO, who might be able to go over some things with you and see if there are anything we can do, because I'm assuming I'm the first person you've talked to from the CCO. No, I'm not?
No, ma'am. Go through you guys through TCCHC, Tillamook Community Health Centers.
Right.
Or Tillamook County Community Health Centers.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I mean, that's not the CCO, so I was just curious if you talked to anyone else. Sorry. I'm working from home, so I have a kid in the background.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm working from inside of a vehicle, and I don't have any technical skills. People taught me how to save the evidence. I followed the stuff that lawyers told me, but the thing is that my predators call me mentally ill, and that's the way that I'm treated when I go to any of these services. I've had to try to turn in police officers since I got to town.
Okay. So, where did you get my number so I can kind of understand how I can?
There's a guy named Victor. He works down by the Tillamook Sporting Goods, and I've spoken with him a few times.
Oh, I know Victor. Okay, yeah, he works at the gaming place.
Yeah, he kind of made you sound like too good to be true for sure.
I love Victor. He's great. I've known him for many years, and I want to help you. I'm just not sure what is the thing. It sounds like you need some sort of protection, and I don't know what the CCO can do to help protect you, and I'm trying to think.
Ma'am, I need someone to help me to turn in the crimes against me safely. Speak to the police. Someone has to be there with me who's going to prevent them from talking over me. My disabilities prevent me from being able to have a place of my own because I was victimized out of my own place.
So are you basically saying that no one from Tides of Change is willing to sit with you while you talk to the police?
I'm telling you that I can't do any of the stuff that they're telling me to do without actual assistance in person. The thing is that the lady from Tides of Change, yeah, she did sit with me while that officer was there. That was great, but she didn't ever speak up. She refused to look at any of the evidence. She didn't tell me until much, much, much later that she wasn't a mandated reporter.
Right.
That's the thing, is that Monica, I spoke with her, the officer, Martinez. He's one of the ones who was harassing and threatening me last night or
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. Um, he did show up, and I had to fight hard for that. And while he was there, I tried explaining what was going on. He kept on talking over me and trying to do the whole, well, are you sure you didn't ask for it scenario?
Yeah, that's not helpful.
Well, the fact is, I recorded it. I recorded him and I recorded Monica, and they're not happy about it, but it's not against the law for me to do that.
True.
The fact is that I have been repeatedly victimized because I have to record it because I'm stuck in public. I am an at risk adult and I am stuck out here with drug addicts. The mandated reporters that I have gone to have sent me to drug addicts on the streets that I've already gone to
Mm-hmm.
for quote unquote peer support. What I need is someone to be an advocate so that I can turn in these crimes to law enforcement, and I can't turn it into any law enforcement agency in Tillamook County now because all of them have committed felonies and I've recorded them all. When I've tried to turn in their officers, instead of allowing me to make an oral report, I get talked over. Instead of allowing me to make a written report, they tell me, oh, well, we'll write it down. And then the officers write down a couple little notes and then they put their notebooks in their pocket if they do that. It took almost 9.5 months of me being here before an officer would even allow me the option of turning it in, and he handed me a notepad that was one of the sergeants.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I don't have a safe place to go, and I don't have anyone to help me in person. I don't have anyone who, how do I explain this? I've been victimized one end of the country to the other because of how popular true crime is and how popular it is to hate men.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have been repeatedly threatened, harassed, and assaulted by police officers for trying to turn in police officers. I have been sent to police officers to turn in that very officer to himself on multiple occasions.
Okay.
Everywhere that I go, I am bullied by the local communities over crimes I didn't commit. I am bullied on the internet. I literally have to record everything, and I have to record it live on YouTube for my safety. Because I don't know when somebody is going to hurt me again while I'm trying to record something offline, such as the police.
Okay.
The situation in Tillamook County is that I was victimized into coming here from Hood River. No matter what, all these people do is sending me around in circles because everybody's a referral service. I've been to TCCHC, and I have recorded them committing felonies, including Danelle Boggs and several others. I have stalkers on the internet as well as in real life, including a man named James Murphy. I was trying to turn in the situation with James Murphy and with the police officers in this town who committed crimes against me to Martinez with Monica. Monica said that she would help me to turn it in, but they couldn't let me use a room. The police wouldn't let me use a room. There's no place for me to go sit in peace and quiet, and that's the thing about being autistic and in a state of crisis. I literally cannot function unless I have a place that is quiet to do that.
Okay.
Otherwise, I am in what's called a state of sensory overload. And I am only in sensory overload because I've been separated from my friends and family for over 7 years. Most of them threw me away because they weren't friends.
Do you have anybody that you would like to go back to?
Yes, but they all threw me away. They all threw me away because Natalie Bollinger got her brains blown out. And she only got her brains blown out because I went to the police and they didn't care. I went to my friends and they just talked over me.
Okay.
I don't have any friends anymore. I have internet nut jobs that pretended that they would help me, and instead of helping me, they took my words and twisted into stuff that it wasn't and posted it on the internet, and I try to post the truth.
It sounds really stressful, and I'm so
It's
sorry.
not stressful, it's hell. When people bullied me, I went to the police and they bullied me too. They bullied me to the point that I attempted suicide repeatedly, and then they used the fact that I attempted suicide over their bullying as an excuse for their bullying.
Okay. So another thought, and this may be something you've already tried, but have you reached out at all to Tillamook Family Counseling?
Ma'am, I've told you repeatedly that I've already gone to them and that they committed crimes against me. Every place
you said
here.
Tillamook Community Health Centers.
I also told you TFCC. I can send you the recording when we're done talking.
Well, I'm just trying to think of what, I guess what I'm telling you is that I am limited on what my local resources are to send you to, and I'm kind of stumped. I want
Ma'am,
to help you.
that's the problem, is that literally all of the services that you're sending me to have only referred me to other places. They're all literally telling me the same things that you are. I'm an at-risk and disabled adult. It is illegal to force me through this. It is against the law.
Is there someone on the state level that you could speak with?
Not without an advocate, ma'am. Not without somebody who's gonna be there so that when I am talked over and berated and bullied, that they can stop that person from doing so. So they can make mention of it, so they can actually bear witness, because no matter how many recordings I make, all my predators have to do is say mentally ill and nobody will look at it.
Well, here's another thing to think about, is Oregon Health Authority has a group called Ombuds. And I don't know if you remember back the ombudsman people, they call them ombuds now.
I have called them already. They did the same thing. All right. They send me around to the same services in Tillamook, Oregon that have already committed crimes against me. All of these places refuse to do anything because the police won't make a report on themselves. All right. I have to go to the police to turn them into themselves, and they retaliate against me for trying to turn them in by bullying me because I always have to do it alone.
I'm kind of stumped right now, and I want to help you, and I don't know who to send you to.
I don't need to be sent to anyone. I need someone to meet me in person.
Right, and that personally isn't something I'm able to do as part of my job. And I'm trying to think of who could, and I'm not sure.
Are you a mandated reporter?
No. No, not in terms of, I mean, I am a mandatory reporter when it comes to, like, child abuse. You know?
And abuse against the elderly, and abuse against at-risk adults, disabled adults in specific in at-risk situations.
Well, what I'm saying is I can reach out to somebody, but I don't know who to send you to you haven't already spoken to.
That's the thing, ma'am, is that the reason these people committed felonies against me is because I had to speak to them alone. That's right. The point, is that I can't be forced to speak to predators alone. I can't be forced to go to my rapists to turn in the rape to specifically my rapists, and this is worse than rape, ma'am.
So what did the Ombuds program tell you when you contacted them?
Well, ma'am, I would have to dig through literally thousands of recordings to find what they said, because I've literally made thousands of phone calls.
Okay.
That's
I'm just trying to think of who would be the best. My concern is if I were to take on that role that's outside of what I'm supposed to be doing in terms of going to and who would you report it to? If you can't go to the police and report it because it's the police, then you I think the
ma'am,
thing is,
I have to have an advocate to help me turn it in.
Right, but to whom is what I'm asking. Who do you want to turn it into?
Ma'am, the point that I'm trying to tell you is that I have to turn in all of the places that you're trying to send me to. They all committed crimes against me because I went in alone and was easy to victimize.
So who would you turn them into? I mean, I'm just asking because I don't know. I mean, you're talking about wanting to turn them in and wanting an advocate with you, and I understand that. But I'm not sure who.
Ma'am, these people, it's all of their jobs. It is every mandated reporter's job. I am an at-risk adult who is being abused daily. I have been abused physically. I have been abused sexually. I have been abused financially. All right, I live in a parking lot because of crimes that I didn't commit. I am victimized by kids here. I have literally hundreds of recordings with the kids in this parking lot tearing the place up and screaming the N-word at me. I am being targeted by the citizens of Tillamook, and none of these places are going to do anything about it. I have to have somebody act as a friend or family member. Also, just so you know, I am trying to get assisted suicide legal in this state because I'm sick of people referring me around in circles. I've been to all of these places repeatedly for 11 months.
I thought it was already legal in the state. Physicians assisted suicide. I thought it really actually already wasn't. Not that I'm wanting to see that happen. But
It's only for terminally ill patients.
Right. That's true.
I don't have cancer. I have autism.
I get what you're saying. Okay. So, I don't know what to do with this, sir.
I want
so
my
sorry.
life to end because of how I am abused. I am abused for trying to turn in my bullies until they can use something that I say to twist into something it ain't.
Right.
I was assaulted at the hospital here on January 28th of this year. While I was trying to turn in crimes committed against me because they're supposed to be mandated reporters. I don't have a parent or a guardian or an advocate, and sending me to these advocacy places that have committed crimes against me that I need to turn in. That's the thing. I need to turn in the crimes committed against me by Tillamook Family Counseling Center. They're pissed off that I recorded them, but they know that I recorded them, and they're retaliating. The police know that I recorded them, and they're retaliating. They're retaliating by refusing to do their jobs.
So let me ask you this. If you had an advocate with you right now, who would you turn them into? Who would you go to make that report?
Well, ma'am, I would call, what's the most recent number that I was given? Because literally, I've been sent by every agency to every other agency for all of them to tell me it's not their job.
I don't know where I can send you either to turn that in.
The governor's advocacy agency, all of the places that you named off. All of the places that you named off, but you have to do it with me.
Yeah, that would be a problem for me.
And that's the problem, is that you're sending me to my predators. You are literally sending me to the places that I'm trying to turn in. It didn't start off that way. It started off with none of these people committed any crimes against me. I went to them and they didn't want to do their jobs. They wanted to commit Medicare and Medicaid fraud.
Okay. So my question then too, if you feel there's Medicare or Medicaid fraud, have you contacted the Medicare and turned them in for that?
I have attempted to. I was told to go to the police. I went to the police. I was also told a whole bunch of other numbers that I have to call. Ma'am, there is too many phone numbers already. I have literally thousands of phone numbers that I have to call. All right? This is backlogged for 8 years now. 8 years now. 8 years of running around from one place to another, being pushed out before I'm able to establish any sort of protection.
That sounds exhausting for you.
It's not just exhausting, ma'am. I'm being threatened, harassed, and intimidated by police, and they're helping the stalkers that I tried to turn in. Monica did not try to allow me a quiet and safe place. These police officers are supposed to allow that. All the cops will do when I try to turn a crime into them is send me to mental health or try to intimidate the shit out of me. What I'm telling you is all of the places that I'm trying to turn in are the places that I was sent to call, but I had to call them alone. I cannot be forced to call these places alone. I cannot be forced to call any of these places alone because none of these mandated reporters are going to help. They're going to pretend that the mandated reporter laws only apply to children, and every one of you should be trained to know that that is BS. I have read the laws over 100 times on my YouTube channel. Over 100 times I have researched the laws and spoken them on my YouTube channel. As evidence that I am reading this stuff, I am going through it, I am following the protocols, I am calling the people that I am told to call, and then I am being threatened with being arrested if I call those places. If you're told that you need to call 911 when a situation happens, and you call 911 and they blow you off, or you're told you need to call the police, and you call the police, and they blow you off. And then you're told you need to go to their superiors, and they blow you off. or they threaten, harass, and intimidate you. That's the thing, is that I have recorded many people at TFCC doing this, blowing me off to somewhere else, saying it's not their job, trying to refer me to other places. The Northwest Senior and Disability Services, I had to go there alone. I went in with a woman who was a witness to many of the crimes committed against me. But the problem is that she didn't speak up. She didn't try to speak up. She didn't try to understand the situation that I was in.
Well, and my problem is I'm not a witness to any of this. And all I have to go on is what you're telling me right now.
No, you don't. Ma'am, you're being recorded on my YouTube channel right now.
Yeah,
You can literally watch yourself on my YouTube channel. You can literally look up the name Natalie Bollinger and verify that. I've got a whole car full of evidence that I have driven from one end of the country to the other for empty promises and lies. I have been threatened, harassed, and intimidated everywhere, and that is not your fault. But the fact is, I am going to mandated reporters like I am told to, and I am being threatened, harassed, and intimidated by the mandated reporters that I'm going to, and they're telling me, oh, well, I don't know who told you to do that, and I tell them who told me to do that, but they want to talk over me.
well, sir, I just want you to know I'm not out to threaten, harass, or intimidate you in any
I'm
way.
well aware. I'm not blaming you for that. This is not about you. This is about the abuse I'm enduring and the fact that I am still going to mandated reporters. I'm being blown off because I have to do it alone. And that's the problem, is that I am an at-risk adult because I am alone. These predators in law enforcement and TFCC are washing each other's backsides, forcing me to go to them as a conflict of interest at every one of them.
Okay, sir, here's what I'm going to say about this as well. I'm extremely uncomfortable with you videoed or audio taping me without my consent. I'm very uncomfortable with that. And I am working for the CCO. I want to be an advocate in any way I can within the scope of my job. And I'm giving you the resources I have. And
You're
I
not
wish
giving
I
me
had more
resources. You're sending me to predators and you're not listening.
Sir, I'm listening, but those are the resources I have. I don't have
Those aren't
resources.
resources, those are predators. Sending a rape victim to their rapist to turn in the rape is illegal.
Well, I don't know what to do to help you because I don't know anybody else besides the people that I would send someone to for support in these circumstances. And I'm
I've
so
gone to
sorry.
them and they have committed crimes against me. That's the problem, is that I'm explaining to you that they're doing the
I
same
hear
thing
what
you're
you're
doing. They're telling me that it's not their job and sending me somewhere else.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying to me. And I wish I could be more help. And I'm so sorry because I
When it
don't wanna
comes
be-
to abuse
Okay.
against at-risk adults, when it comes to mandated reporter laws, the fact that I told you that the crime was committed against me is enough to begin an investigation. The people that are supposed to be called is Adult Protective Services and the police.
Okay, and it sounds like you've already done those steps, and that's
I've done those things alone, and I have had to work alone in each of these situations. I've recorded these situations. They did not work together to help me. They worked together to prevent me from turning them in. It is recorded.
Okay. The only other thing I can suggest that I can do on my end is reach out to my supervisors, ask them for advice on how to help you. Because I really don't know. I'm stuck. And I'm very happy to admit I don't know something. I'm not going to pretend I know something and put you in a worse situation, but I really don't have an answer to what you're asking.
Look up the name Natalie Bollinger, and you can understand how I don't feel comfortable being recorded either. I have to record for my safety. It's different. My little sister's life was threatened. My niece's life was threatened. All of the people who were trying to help me turn this stuff in, their lives were threatened, and most of them were harassed by police officers who I was trying to turn in.
So,
Threatened with
sir,
having
here's
their
what I'm gonna
children
say.
taken away.
Here's what I'm going to say. I can check in on with my supervisors, and I will, if I can find out anything else to help you, I will get back to you. But I feel like we're kind of going in circles here because I don't have the resources that you're needing. I don't have them. I simply don't. If I had them, I would gladly tell you about
Ma'am,
them.
you're a mandated reporter. The fact that I told you about the crimes that are committed against me means that you have a job to do.
But it's already, this has all been reported. This is all.
No, it hasn't. I've been prevented from reporting it. That's what I'm telling you. I have been illegally prevented from reporting it because I'm sent around in circles.
Then what I can do on your behalf, sir, is I will call the elder abuse hotline, and I can give them your name. I can give them your contact information, and I can let them know what you're sharing with me. That is what I would be happy to do to help you. I can do that. I can report this, and I will definitely do that. As soon as we get off the phone, I'll give them a call. I'll speak to them about what you've shared with me.
Well, there's a lot of crimes that I have to turn in, ma'am. There are a lot of crimes that have been
Well,
committed against
My
me.
concern is that if I say I'm going to call and report this, you're going to say to me, it's already been reported. And so
No,
I don't
no,
know.
no, no. I'm telling you that I've tried to report it.
Well,
I've
I'm
tried to
happy
report it.
call and talk to that hotline and share your concerns with them.
I
That
have
would be
already
fine.
done that, ma'am. That's the thing, is that I've already done that.
So I'm not refusing to report. I'm offering to report, and I can do that for you.
And that's what I'm asking you to do. That's what I've asked all of these places to do. That's what I've literally spent the last 31 minutes trying to explain to you.
Sir, I understand now. Then I will
Thank
give them a
you.
call. I will call the hotline, and the number you're calling me from, is that the number for them to reach you?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there any other information that, as far as contacting you, that they would need to have, or is it just a phone number that they would need for you?
Well, that's the thing about not having an advocate here in person, is that how do I explain this? The crimes that I've been trying to turn in, I've been talked over in every single case. There's easily 300 to 400 crimes that have been committed against me just in the last few months. And I can tell you about them so that you can turn them in. That includes the crimes committed at the hospital when I was assaulted there. I was assaulted by Dr. Stephan L. Stephanides when I was trying to turn in the crimes that were committed against me. I was explaining to them that I was being assaulted, that I was being threatened, and that I was trying to get a mandated reporter to do their job. There was a woman there from TFCC named Kathy.
Okay.
Now, Kathy was not willing to listen to anything that I had to say. All she was trying to do was get me to say that I wanted to kill myself or others. She was not interested in any of the crimes committed against me.
Okay.
When I
So
told
it sounds like you have complaints to turn in against multiple agencies, including like Tides of Change, mental health agency here, the public health department, and local police, and several others that you've gone to.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
haven't felt like you were heard. You felt you were talked over. You felt threatened, harassed, and intimidated. And you feel that as somebody with autism, it makes the communication difficult. You need an advocate, and you feel like you're not getting those needs met, and you're feeling like you're unsafe. Would that be correct?
Yes, but there's also the names of the predators, and I'm trying to give you those too. One of
Well,
my
that is-
predators is
I would
Officer
rather-
Reeves, and he assaulted a 14-year-old girl in front of me at the Safeway parking lot here.
Okay,
There are multiple
sir,
witnesses to that.
Rather than me taking down all of these names, I think it would be clearer if I gave them the idea of what is going on for you, what you shared with me in terms. I don't need every name of every person, because it sounds like you have hundreds of things going on with this, and you said you have hundreds of hours of video and audio tape.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Well, I have
I'm
thousands of
happy to-
hours. There's over 6,000 video recordings on my YouTube channel alone. Most of the recordings that I have are offline because they might have people's private information, including my social security number and telephone number. I have been harassed repeatedly in so many ways, online and in person.
Right, I understand. So here's the thing. I am happy to call the elder abuse, which is also for folks with disabilities, that hotline, and I will give them your name and your phone number.
They will send you to Northwest Senior and Disability Services.
But that I am doing a report,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm going to do my best to give them the full picture of what you shared with me, and give them your name and contact information. So
Also, they
follow
can't
up,
call
and
me.
I will let them know that you are interested in having an advocate to help you with that conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Would that be helpful to you, sir?
It would be, but also
Okay.
it would be helpful if I could. I'm sorry, I gotta breathe.
It's all right.
I need to be able to tell these situations without being interrupted.
Mhm.
Instead of people dictating what I am or am not allowed to tell them, it shouldn't have taken 30 minutes for me to explain to you. I needed you to do your job as a mandated reporter and that I know the laws about mandated reporting.
Well, to be fair, sir, it wasn't you explaining that to me. It was you explaining at length some of the things that have happened to you, and I was trying to be a good listener and let you finish talking. I was really actually trying not to talk over you and trying to be respectful. I'm not trying to be rude to you. I'm trying to help you, and by letting you explain fully, there was things I wasn't understanding.
You
at
weren't
first.
letting me explain fully.
Well, I
But go
tried,
ahead.
and I'm sorry if I wasn't being a good listener.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Most people instead they get hateful and defensive. When I was telling you that it wasn't about you, that wasn't me trying to be rude. That's
I
me
know.
being scared.
No, I get it, and I understand that you're going through a lot of trauma right now, and it's really scary and difficult. And I'm not here to make it worse. I'm here to try to understand. But I will make that phone call, and as soon as we hang up, I just got to dig out the number. I will give them a call. I'll give them your name, and I'll give them your contact information.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I wish I could say I could do a lot more, but honestly,
The
sir,
people that I have to go to above their head is the governor's advocacy agency. But
Yes.
like I said, if nobody calls with me, I'll be talked over.
Well, and actually, I've spoken with the GOA and on occasion in other situations, and they're a good agency to go to.
I've tried that though, and they blew me off and told me that I had to go back to the police. Until the police do something, the DA's office won't do anything. How am I going to get the police to do their job when they're not going to turn in themselves?
Right, right.
And that needs to be noted that I am trying to turn in abuse by police officers, sheriff's department employees, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, TCCHC, the Northwest Senior and Disability Center, CARE. In specific, there's a lot of people like Danelle Boggs that are recorded on my channel too. I told all of these mandated reporters I needed them to do their jobs as mandated reporters, and they all played stupid, like all I knew was the Google version. I look up the actual laws.
Okay, so sir, I just want to verify that your phone number is 308.
Hold up. I'm recording this live, and I need to make sure that my phone number isn't given out unsafely.
Okay.
Hold on a second.